You're watching Missouri Western Television. Coming up on Western Reports, we're highlighting the Department of Legal Studies and Criminal Justice, and we talk with several members of the faculty. We also celebrate nursing students' accomplishments and talk to the Student Employment Coordinator about the new Hire a Griffin program. Stay tuned for these stories and more. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Western Reports. I'm Megan Glenn. The Department of Legal Studies and Criminal Justice serves students interested in the areas of law enforcement, corrections, juvenile delinquency, and criminal justice administration. Their Legal Studies program is approved by the American Bar Association and is rapidly growing at Western. We talked to Department Chair Dr. David Tesshaus about his department and what it offers students. Let's take a look.
Our department has a bachelor's degree, it has associate degrees, and it has a certificate program as well. The bachelor's degree has 5 different concentrations in it: administration, corrections, juvenile delinquency, law enforcement, and legal studies. And then we have an associate's degree in legal assistant and an associate's degree in criminal justice, and then we have a certificate in legal assistant as well. For example, students who emphasize in law enforcement are looking for a law enforcement job, either getting out and going to work in a law enforcement agency as a police officer or with the federal government as an agent with the FBI or the CIA or something. When you get into legal studies, those are very different jobs from the law enforcement area. Those students are looking at being an assistant to an attorney, more than just a secretary, a person who can do almost anything an attorney can do except go to certain courts and represent people in courts and give legal advice. And then you have juvenile delinquency as a concentration. Those people often go into the juvenile justice system, either as a juvenile officer or working in a juvenile detention center or something like that. Your corrections emphasis people, they are interested usually in something like probation and parole, being a probation officer or working in the corrections system as an administrator or something like that. So really, it's a very broad area that you can get a job in once you graduate in our program. Applied learning is an important part of our department, and students will get at least one applied learning experience if they come to Missouri Western and major in criminal justice and legal studies. One of the big ones is our practicums and internships. Right now, students are required to do 9 hours of practicums and internships, and that gives students an opportunity to actually get a job at an agency and work in an agency and find out, is this something I want to do? Or even just as valuable, is this something I don't want to do? For example, a student in law enforcement will do a practicum sometimes at the police department and get to do ride-alongs or get to be involved in investigations of various kinds. And students in the legal studies program, they almost always end up working in a law office or a prosecuting attorney's office. And really, depending on the practicum, they may get to do as much as a full-blown paralegal would do: interview clients, draft documents, do legal research. When I was at Legal Aid, that's when I first started working with students, and we took students in, and being a not-for-profit, we needed all the help we could get. And so when we got students in, it wasn't, well, why don't you answer the phone today? It was, why don't you talk to this client and interview them and find out what their problem is, and then you come to the staff meeting and you present their case just like a paralegal would. And it's great experience for them, and almost all of them get a very big lift out of getting a chance to apply what they've learned in the classroom into the field. Our faculty all have real-world experience in these various different agencies. For example, I worked as an attorney in a legal aid office for 14 years before I became a full-time faculty member. Another faculty member worked at the juvenile office as an attorney, and before that, the public defender's office as an attorney. We have former law enforcement officers, former juvenile officers. We have a variety of faculty who have worked in these public sector jobs and in the private sector as well. and we bring that experience into the classroom with the theory so that we can talk about how the theory applies to the real life experience. And I think that's very valuable for our students. Our program right now, our department is looking at several possible different graduate programs, and probably the one I think is farthest along is a graduate program in forensic investigations. Right now we presently offer special courses in forensics, such as bone identification is the one we just recently finished, and we're looking at putting all those courses together into a graduate degree program. After graduation, we have students do all kinds of different things. A lot of our students go into public service. They go and they become a police officer or a federal agent, a conservation officer, and that's a public service. And in our mind, that's a success. Public service is important, and our students are going out and doing these important things. Other types of public service that may not be as well known to people would be on the legal studies side. A lot of our legal studies students have ended up working in the public defender's office or the prosecuting attorney's office or a legal aid office where they represent people with civil legal problems, or a juvenile office. Again, a type of public service where our students are maybe not being paid as much as they would in the private sector, but the rewards of their work are really very great. And then juvenile is almost all public service. The students who decide, I want to work with kids and major in the juvenile concentration area, they're going into facilities or into agencies where they're going to work often with problem youth or even youth just kind of at risk, and they're trying to help those youth turn their lives around. And you can't help but be proud of your students doing that kind of work.
I actually work for the Legal Studies Department. I'm the front desk clerk, and I really like the department. All the teachers are really nice. All the professors are really nice. They're very understanding, and they care. Like, they care about what grades you get. They care that you actually understand what they're teaching you.
Yes, I believe all of the teachers here have practical experience. Some of them have been in law enforcement. Some of them know what law enforcement agencies are looking for. Some of them are lawyers. They know what it's going to take to go through the LSATs and what it's going to take to go through law school, and they just prepare you better every step of the way for that.
I think probably the best thing is the fact that we have some flexibility to do the types of things we want to do. For example, I've been able to work with the Southern Institute of Forensic Science to bring some outside resources to Missouri Western as far as professors in anthropology and other programs that we don't have here at Missouri Western. They've allowed me to bring them in, and we've taught some courses. We've developed a forensic scene research facility where we study decomposition of some pig cadavers, and also have a criminalistics lab, which is beyond what a lot of criminal justice programs have. We have a lot of students coming to Missouri Western that are interested in CSI, and their only exposure is the programs. And in some ways that's good because it creates interest. Unfortunately, in some ways it's bad because it's not a very realistic expectation as to what the job really is. So they come here, we try to explain to them what they need. Sometimes they actually are looking for a degree in chemistry as opposed to criminal justice if they want to work in a laboratory setting. And other times they actually want to be involved in a crime scene investigation, so we would be the right program for them.
I had been an adjunct professor for about 5 years, and it was the fun in my day to come at night and share the law with students. And so the opportunity came up to teach full-time, and I accepted without hesitation because it's what I love the most is the law and sharing it with others, really engaging others and empowering them with the knowledge of the law. The nice thing is knowledge of the law gives you an extreme amount of possibilities in a career. You're really open to government service, public service. You have that information, you have that knowledge. And what particular area of the law that you choose to go into is hopefully where your passion lies. And you should know that by the end of your bachelor degree days where you want to spend your days. I tell students all the time, do what you love and you'll never work another day. because if you'll go there even when you're not getting paid, which is what they experience many times in an internship or practicum experience, and if you would go, or if you think when you're going, I can't believe they let me do this and they pay me to do this, you're in the right career. And that's how I feel coming to Missouri Western. I can't believe that I get paid to share the law and to engage students and help them make their dreams come true. It's a joy.